I am an American who was serving as a soldier in the Special Forces. My name won't be revealed, but you can call me Mr. M, and I was once fighting on the Ukraine side. But now, I'm something else, a seeker of truths, hidden in the shadows of a conflict that I am no longer willing to give up my life for. I was under a branch of Special Forces focused on counter-terrorism and killing specific targets. We would occasionally get missions for protecting very important individuals, but they would choose the best among us for that. I was sure this would be my last year as an Army member. I was no longer in my best years. And now I had something else to worry about. My wife and my yet unborn child, waiting for me back home. I told my wife this would be my last mission ever, but she told me not to go, as she felt something was wrong. And later, I found out that she was not wrong. I gave her a goodbye kiss on her lips, and to her belly to our child, and I left not knowing it would probably be my last time seeing them. As I was called to the mission, I was ready for what would happen. Since I was aware of the conflict situation between Russia and Ukraine, this mission was classified and told the details to nobody. We were supposed to ambush a specific group from Russia who were attacking from on of the borders in Ukraine. Our orders were clear from the general to put them all down. Once we arrived in Ukraine, we rested the night, and by 4 a.m. we were ready to go. We got deployed after 3 hours of sleep. Everything seemed like another mission, but myself alongside my team received instructions that changed everything. We were not only supposed to ambush the Russians attempting to break through the Ukrainian border, but also we had to secure the area once we were done. Something seemed off and didn't look all right for me. Once we got there, it was myself as the captain and another 12 trained, deadly soldiers. It was in the outside of a rural town, everything already devastated. We were deployed to the location by air, so we stumbled upon many surprises. We did not understand the reason why would they want us to protect this area from Russians. But very soon, everything will make sense for me and my comrades. We moved around the town and got through it, clearing all the area. I witnessed true horrors as in each house I encountered a father or a mother, innocent kids, now fresh, unlived corpse. Not even their animals were alive from missile attacks. The sight was truly shocking. Everyone else that survived the attacks left to a safer place. We took position and waited until the Russians would mobilize through. Just about 5 hours later, we had set traps, and our positions were being holed. With patience, we were ready for any situation that we would encounter, or that's what we thought. Eventually, we would not notice movement until the sun began to hide, and the night upon us, we heard vehicles approaching in the road. It was them. Using a binocular, I gave instructions to my platoon. There were 3 combat vehicles spotted. As soon as they got near the area where we set up the traps and explosives, while using the binoculars, I gave the instructions to my team to blow up everything. And so they did. The explosion was powerful. All 3 combat vehicles were put out of combat, but soon from the surviving Russians responded with fire from our previous attacks. They were not sure of our exact location, but they kept searching for us, shooting at the directions that they assumed we were at. Those Russians, tough sons of bitches. No matter how badly some of them were injured, they kept fighting as retaliation. Here we were from strategic points ready to come at them. From a grenade thrown at them from one of my comrades, managed to put out of combat 2 of them, blowing their feet and legs out. I shot in the head to one of them and managed to capture the last one alive from their battalion. We got lucky, it was a small troop. The one we captured was the sergeant of their platoon. As we were ordered, we took the sergeant to our camp, set it up hidden in the destroyed Ukrainian town. Surely the putrid smell of death, and was not easy task to bear easily. We tied the Russian sergeant to a pole in middle of the cold, just by our camp. The task was simple. We had to get answers from him about their plans, their strategy, and their long-term goals from their attacks. Also names and locations. I interrogated him, and only managed to get his name after 4 hours of interrogation. Sergeant Volvik Boris did not want to cooperate. As soon as I contacted our commander, he seemed very irritated and frustrated due to the situation. Under many codes against torture and treatments towards war prisoners as soldiers, We were strictly prohibited from using methods such as torture from our enemies, despite that the general gave us orders that would break this code of conduct. Get answers from him either by the good way or the bad way, you know what to do, the commander said. I would want to refuse orders such as those, but deep down, I knew this is what I had to do. I realized in the situation I dragged myself in, and all I wanted was to see my family again, my wife and my child still inside her womb. I was determined to endure what I must to finish this last mission and retire once and for all. I told the rest of my team we will torture him and get answers one way or another. I had no other choice. Punishments for disobeying a direct order could be fatal from anybody of my rank, from military prison to a reduced payment from mission or an overall reduction of retirement lifetime paycheck. I truly did not want to risk so much. After hours of torturing the Russian sergeant and breaking his bones using a hammer, he revealed some strategies from their plans on taking over Ukraine, but did not give us further details on why not stopping the war. This truly made my team and I understand the level of corruption between both countries. This meant both sides were not fighting for the people, but themselves, sending this young men to die for the interest and vanity of this old rich individuals, many involved as politicians, with two-sided faces, and others in the shadows, whose names I won't mention, but you all might be very well aware who I am talking about. Our food supplies were cutting short. We had maintained our position for days, until we finally received the orders to retreat back to the base. Until further instructions, I provided enough information from the Russian to our commander so that we could use it to our advantage. I asked him what would we do with him now. Our commander only told me to leave him as he is, but making sure he is tied up and unable to escape. I questioned myself from this strange order. It was the first time I would have to leave a war prisoner, as he is in the middle of nowhere. I've been a special ops for more than a decade, and this was a surprise. Unfortunately, later on, I would understand the ugly truth of the reasons for this orders. We made it back to the base, and we stayed there for 2 months. Everything seemed like we will go back home before even staying 5 months or a longer period of time until I received the instructions that would change everything. The location that myself alongside my team have secured on our first mission now was under reconstruction of something else. This truly awakened some intrigue on me, as I realized our government had some interest in that specific location. We were sent to scout on secure around. This time we were sent, but with a different mission. We were supposed to protect a very important individual, but his last name was not revealed to me for a strange reason. The commander told me to pick half my team, and the other ones could go back home, and so I did. Now it was 6 of us. The best ones remained to finish the mission, so now they were coming with me. I provided the same details I was given, and we all agreed this was very strange. Once we got there, everything changed for the worse. As we arrived, the entire area of what seemed to be a town destroyed, and with corpses, was now all cleared out. We saw people on scientific coats and anti-radiation suits, the houses and the environment of trees. Nature now was replaced with small white tents everywhere. Myself and my team saw the very disturbing surprises. Many of the villagers' dead bodies being used as empty vessels for experiments, children alongside them. After seeing this horrific sight, I felt pure rage on my soul. Why were they doing this? These people had no morals, no respect to human life, but this would only be the beginning of the true horrors that awaited us. It did not take too long. I was in formation with my team, waiting for further instruction when they arrived. These individuals were the ones we were supposed to protect as our new mission. They seemed ordinary old men with a lot of money, but I was wrong. They were far from ordinary. Their appearance and the way they moved caught my attention. Some of these men well-known famous politicians that looked normal on camera, but when I saw his movements and details about his expressions, I noticed there was something very odd about them. "So here they are, our dogs," one of them said. The way he called us in such a disrespectful way truly did make me uncomfortable and irritated. Nobody ever referred to a special ops captain and his team in such a derogatory term. This men far from ordinary had strange behavioral patterns. When they talked, their tongue was visible and its shape was not ordinary. I was amazed how these people acted or tried to be normal people when the camera was pointing at them, but in reality they were not human like people. They had strange devices connected to their neck that had a stang square-like figure devices and appeared to be like a metallic component. I still could not understand how they were able to use them. It amazed me the level of advanced technology they possessed. When they gave us orders to accompany them serving as bodyguards, we followed them inside one of the tents where many dead bodies were being used as experiment vessels, and along them, there is where I meet with the ugly reality. There he was, the Russian Sergeant Boris, the man that we captured during our first mission. Now what we came to see was only leftovers from his corpse. This is where everything changed for myself and my team. I felt a sickening feeling. His body was cut open, split in half, and his organs were totally empty. It appeared that they were using him and many other people for organ trafficking and experiments. As for the children, there were secrets much more sinister. The kids were being murdered in a brutal and agonizing way, and this people, they had no compassion, unable to feel guilt from their cruelty. They were cold-blooded. This men loved to see it, and I could only witness in horror. It appears to be the very essence from this children that caused a dopamine effect of pleasure on this rich men. They called adrenochrome the substance that were being extracted from this innocent kids. The key to produce this substance was by causing a lot of trauma to the child before taking his life. I was not aware of what were this men capable of with this advanced technology, so the best thing I could do was wait until I was able to speak with my comrades more privately and figure out a plan to make sure this information reaches the surface. I wanted to rescue as many of these kids and people as I knew I would put my life at risk, but I did what had to be done. When this reptilian men used the strange devices attached to their necks to open a strange circular shape entrance that was on the ground, it appeared to be made of metal as it opened up and was camouflaged with its surroundings. Then it was totally transparent. But when these beings used their technology to manipulate this entrance, it changed to a metallic color. I was speechless. How I did not notice there was a hidden entrance in our faces all this time. Ground. It was like a small platform that would work as an elevator, being able to transport us down below. I was not sure where would they take us, so before we stepped foot in this circular shaped platform that would take us down below the earth, I commanded, with instructions to one of my team members to send a message using his phone device. This message would be set to be delivered within 48 hours, automatically in case anything goes wrong and we don't make it out alive. I could not talk about everything we were witnessing, but the eyes of my comrades, full of fear, I could see everything they were witnessing. As hard-trained, special ops as we were, the things we were going through was never something we would expect to happen to us. Despite all our missions and violent scenarios, we could never imagine this sort of people ever existed. The technology they possessed, and all the hidden knowledge that was in their hands alongside all that wealth and influence. We set foot in the circular platform and it felt so light, as if we were walking on clouds, or almost even floating in the middle of the air. We started our descent, and the walls surrounding us while descending appeared to be some kind of obsidian material, because of its dark colors, but I could not be totally sure. It took us around 10 seconds until we finally reached the place. One of this men told us to behold the technology and advancements we were witnessing, as it may be the first and last time we will ever witness it. I would not understand that last phrase entirely until later on this very same day, where chaos would begin. Once we set foot outside from the platform, the place was incredible. It was long halls. The floor appeared to be pure glass, but at the same time was extremely hard of a surface. I could see how it looked outside of this structure, and I witnessed true amazing things. We witnessed an entire different city, a colony full of buildings. We were somewhere in like a gigantic cave. I was not sure exactly how deep below we were, but I was more than convinced we were extremely low. I noticed strange devices attached to the walls, and they appeared to be regulating the temperature of the place. As I assumed, we would probably get roasted alive if not for those devices. We walked for 10 minutes until we reached a control panel. where the men in suits were talking about how stupid politicians were and the way they would use them to manipulate media and gain control over the population. I witnessed how wealthy individuals with terminal cancers or deformities were placed on a capsule to be healed instantly, while out there in the day-to-day life, people would be tricked to think there is no cure to their sicknesses. Well, there are. But these men have no interest in sharing. They only look after their own interests. Myself and my comrades received orders to explore the depths of the cave beyond the city area. We received extra equipment and more weapons. As we were ready, we descended through the same platform deeper into the cave. This time it was just me and my comrades. The wealthy men stayed from afar, watching from cameras. As they explained to us, we had to deploy a capsule that would manage to scan the depths of the cave with electromagnetic waves. We kept descending for almost 3 minutes. Already the lights of the cities that we first met were gone. No more noise, no more light. We kept getting deeper into the cave as the platform kept descending. A warning sign appeared on the control panel. It showed fast movements in the radar. 1 dot appeared, then 20, then 30, and it kept increasing. From my earpiece, I heard one of those men with expensive suits from before say, "They are close, be ready," when I asked him who was closed. He stayed quiet. I was alert as some strange noises emerged. Some type of reptile-like noise, yet deeper and stronger, as if it came from a larger species. As I turned on the light from my flashlight, I could not believe what I saw. They were at least 4 meters tall each, able to climb and jump with extreme agility. They were gray and some dark green. Their appearance reptile-like, but with some human-like movements. I ordered my team not to shoot, since we were protected by a piece of transparent crystal around the capsule. I would not be sure how much the crystal could withstand from their attacks, if those things decided to come at us, or if we could communicate with them. We still had to go lower to place the device, so we tried ignoring these creatures and go deeper down. As we reached lower, we received the instruction to leave the capsule and walk for a minute to leave the device attached to a spike from many coming off the ground. The temperature was extremely hot, but our suits were protecting us from melting alive. As we made our way back to the capsule, we encountered one of those beings walking on his fours on top of the capsule. It had a long tail, and when it stood up was at least 4 meters tall. Scales like a reptile, its face too. Yet it had some human-like pattern on its movement, and appeared to be savage in nature with a limited intelligence. Or that's what it looked like. After the creature sensed our presence, it looked at us directly. Meeting to our eye contact, one of us made an aggressive move, pointing his gun at the creature, which caused it to become alert and hostile towards us. Its roar sending shivers down our spines, and with brute force and agility jumped towards us with clear intention of killing. As I gave orders to open fire, it took several rounds before putting it down. Unfortunately, the creature managed to swipe with its enormous claws at one of my comrades, opening a huge cut on his stomach, causing his guts to spill out, so we carried him to the platform. After taking one of this creatures down, it caused that many of the other ones would see us as a threat. Now hearing many of them coming at us, we managed to drag the injured soldier with us, the mission now being a success, but at the cost of one of us. As we got to the platform, we started ascending as fast as possible, but one of those creatures jumped to the platform and started to hit the crystal around us with incredible strength. We could not do much but being ready. When this beast breaks through the crystal, that was standing very well, considering the strength from this beast. As we got closer to the city inside the cave, the creature broke through the crystal, so we opened fire, only managing to injure it before it took the injured soldier with his guts out down with it to the dark abysm. We only heard his scream before a snap and some flesh being torn apart as we ascended. He died. Now in the surface, with the mission complete, I demanded answers from the men in suits. Why would they not tell us about these creatures? I was angry for losing one of my men. I took responsibility as the captain. They told me that if they told us about these beings, we would have refused to do the mission. "Are you calling us cowards?" I said to one of them, punching my fist in the table during the meeting room. After half an hour discussing, we were free to go now. Our mission complete. and I was ready to quit my career and dedicate myself to my wife and child. As I changed back to my uniform and my equipment, I got ready with my team. We were already in our way to the platform and reached the surface, but things would not go as planned. As we went to the platform and started to our way to the surface, it took us a few minutes, but the ugly surprise was yet to come. Once we were back to the civilized world, there were many soldiers and one of our commanders waiting for us, but not with welcoming arms. We left the platform, but the soldiers arrested us. We were now under arrest, and they would want to put us in prison to silence us. So this is what they would do to us. Once we are no longer useful, they would just get rid of us. The words from one of those ugly, rich weirdos in my mind again, when he referred to us as their dogs. Once back in the base, we were put in the interrogatory room, where they would torture us and try to make us go crazy so that we forget what we saw down there and never be able to speak again. I was held hostage, being constantly tortured. May of this sick bastards enjoying trying to make me break. I held strong no matter what. During this period, I would analyze them. I would see their movements, hear their conversations, and formulate escape plan. Waiting got the right moment. I knew the time would come sooner or later. It would, and damn right I was. During one of their torture methods, while I was being electrocuted, while my arms were tied behind a chair, I managed to scrap off a piece of small plastic of the material in which they would provide meals for me. I used a thin piece of this plastic already hardened and used it as a lockpick, unlocking my handcuffs and brutally beating up the one that was torturing me. Immediately the alarms sound off and I took his gun and him as my hostage, holding him like a shield. I walked through the corridors until the exit while pointing his own gun to his head. As I kept him like my human shield, they would not shoot me, but at the exit I knew snipers would be waiting for me. I opened fire to the soldiers following me through the corridors, killing 2 of them in the process. I asked the man I held hostage for the keys of his car. Once I took them, I went to the garage underground, where they would park their vehicles. Once I got to his car, I shot him in the head and took his car to escape the base. As I left, some shots reached the car, damaging its wheels and the engine, but I was alive and no bullets reached me. I drove for any hours, as helicopters were behind me, managing to reach the border in Ukraine. As I passed it, I left the car behind, escaping through the dense woods. I am in a hidden location. Writing this information, I will remain anonymous, for I know they don't want me to tell the world what I seen. The hidden knowledge a few keep to take advantage from the rest of us, but I will reveal it all as I am writing this letter to a trust source. I am no longer just a soldier. I am the one who seeks truth in this world full of lies. I want to see my family again, but for now, I will remain alive. Maybe my comrades that were with me in the mission are already dead. Their sacrifice won't be for nothing, and I will make sure of that.